course, the one that's on there just keeps spinning.
Yeah, nice. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode Up and Running. Thanks for watching. All right, on today's episode, we're going to get back to work on the 68 El Camino. I figured I'd take a little walk underneath this car once to show you how good a condition it's in. There's like no rust underneath this car at all. Yeah, nice little 12 bolt, 4-link rear suspension. It's got a big rear sway bar on it. This thing is super nice underneath here. All right, so we are going to go ahead and bleed all 4 brakes on here. So we're going to start with the right rear, then go to the left rear, then the front right, and the driver left.
I'm holding. Down.
Do you want me to do the front right away?
On the second pump.
Okay. So I got no air out of there. It's closed. Closed.
Well, you're going to do the front now.
Oh, okay. They're both open. Is it down?
Down. Wow, they're both closed, huh?
Yeah. Really? Let me, yeah.
Like going to the floor.
Well, that's weird. I mean, nothing's coming out the bleeders. Is it pumping up at all?
A little bit, but not like it was. Go ahead and open the back.
Okay, open.
Down.
You want me to do the front?
No, let me see. Once you tighten it up.
Closed.
No, it got better. Go ahead and do that back one more.
Open.
Down.
You want me to do the front?
No,
Nope.
just go ahead and close it.
Closed.
Alright, now we'll do the next one.
Alright.
No air though, huh?
I did not see any air. What's weird is I'm not getting a good, like, solid stream out of here.
You want to check the level?
Yeah, let me, let's do that.
Is it closed?
It's closed. All right, we bled the brakes some. We're going to take it for a little spin and see where we're at on this. See if it helped at all or if it made any difference. I'm thinking no. I'm just going to go around the circle with it here and evaluate it a little bit. I think the front locked up. I mean, the car stops, but the pedal is like, you know, way down. Yeah, I'm going to say it made no difference at all. And I didn't notice a lot of air coming out when we were doing the bleeding, so there's still something else going on in here. But it's a nice day for a drive. It stopped straight. Yeah, I feel like the back is doing very little. Alright, so one thing that we're going to do here is we're going to replace the front calipers on here. We are having trouble getting any fluid out of the bleeders, but when you crack the line that goes into the caliper, you get a ton of fluid out, so we feel like there's a restriction in the calipers, so we're going to go ahead and replace those. Alright, so here's the new caliper. Make sure the bleeder is up. These also have an L on them for left, but a lot of them do not have that, so you want to be sure you get the correct side. Looks like I got to push these pins out. Ugh, these pins were in. Come on. There we go. They gave us new bolts. All right, now we just have to switch the line from the old one onto the new one. So something I noticed, the calipers that we took off were aftermarket. I don't know if that's got anything to do, but these say Delco Moraine right on them, and it's got the GM part number, so they're original calipers. So we'll see if they work. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this master cylinder off. We're going to put a new one on this car, and hopefully that'll end our issues that we're having. There's two bolts that hold it onto the brake booster, and then you've got the you get a different wrench for that, and then there's two brake lines that you got to take off. All right, we just about got this up. Oh, of course, there's a hard spot in the thread right at the end. There we go. Alright, try not to drip this on the paint. Success. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is check the depth of the plunger in there to make sure they're the same between the masters, and these are. So that should be good, because if you get one that's deeper or shallower, the rod that goes through your brake booster will not work. So alright, let's get this mounted in the vise and we'll get this bled. Alright, so I'm going to put some brake fluid in here, and when I see it starting to come out of these holes, then I'm going to put the plugs in. and then we're going to bleed it. So you just sit and wait until you see the brake fluid starting to come through. Okay, if you look, this one's starting to drip, so I'm going to go ahead and put the plug in it yet. The other one is still not dripping, so it may take a second to get that one, get the fluid through that one. Alright, you can see this one starting to drip now, so I'm going to put the block off in here. And then we'll slowly work the master. Now what I'm going to do is just push this in lightly. Now like right now there's a ton of air coming out. Let me see if I can get you guys in there to see this. You can see those bubbles. That's what we're working out. We just got to keep working it until there's no more bubbles. Okay, so I think we got it all now. You can see the fluid moving. It's just fluid coming out, but there's no bubbles out of the front or the rear. So looks like we got it all bled. So now we just got to go ahead and put it on the car. All right. Alright, just got to get everything snugged up. It'll be good to go. Alright. Installed. Alright, now we got to bleed everything, and hopefully this takes care of everything. Alright, that seemed to take care of the brake issues. We have a pedal now. All the wheels are stopping when we hit the brakes. Stuff like that. So I think there were two issues with the brakes. I think one was a caliper issue, and then one was a master cylinder issue. I think what was going on in the master was maybe only one part of it, like one half of it. The fronts were working properly, and the back part of the master cylinder for the back of the car was letting a little fluid weep by, because we could feel the brakes were coming on in the back. They just weren't, coming on fully. So I think, something like that was going on with it. So we got to take it for one spin yet and make sure everything's good on it. All right, so the owner of this car put some new air conditioning components on it. So we are going to suck this down and see if it holds, and then we're going to go ahead and charge it. So the blue is the low pressure side, the red is the high pressure side. And that said no vacuum detected, so let's try it one more time. Okay, so during the suck down process, I was getting a hissing noise and the machine was telling me it wasn't creating any vacuum. This component right here was leaking, it wasn't tight. He went and put a new compressor, new hoses, all kinds of stuff. This joint wasn't assembled completely and it was not tight, so I do not hear any hissing sounds now, so we should be good. Alright, so here you can see we're sucking down now pretty good. So I think that leak was the only one, so that took care of it.
Are we leaking?
Kind of looks that way. Okay, somewhere right down here.
Can you feel? Oh, I can see it.
Yeah,
dripping.
Where's it coming out of though? Oh, this.
That went away. remember the sight glasses?
Yeah.
You're supposed to charge until you see no more bubbles.
Right. It's pretty close right now. Hey, Ed. Bottom fitting.
Oh, yeah. That's weird it didn't get picked up.
Well, I guess we gotta suck it down again.
Yeah,
all right.
It's no freon in it.
Yeah. So we got a leak in one of the fittings, another leak that showed up when the pressure came on. So we're gonna have to suck it back down again and fix that. All right. So I had a leak. There was another fitting that wasn't quite tight enough. So when it started to build pressure, it started leaking down at the bottom of the condenser. So I got that tightened up. And I found one other one that wasn't totally tight, so I tightened that up as well. So we're going to start this process again and see what happens. Okay, so we don't know how much Freon this car takes, so we put in 1 pound 6 ounces just to start. You can see we're probably a little low on the pressures. This should probably be 25, 30, probably 30 and 175 or something like that. Another way you can tell is if you look down at the sight glass, you see all the bubbles going through it. There should not be any bubbles, so I think we need to add a little bit more Freon to this.
I call it a day.
Alright, so we just dropped in a little bit more refrigerant to top it off. It's feeling really good now. This is nice and ice cold. It's ice cold, and the temperature's good inside the car, so I think we're good. So I think the air conditioning project is complete. So here's the thermometer inside the car. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Looks like we're right on like 40 degrees, so it's coming out of there nice and cold. All right, so Ed's going to be touching up the chips in the paint that were on the front of the door. I think he's going to do some other stuff as well, but he's basically just building that back up a little bit so he doesn't have a step like between the old paint and the new paint there. So
Of course, the one that's on there just keeps spinning.
yeah, nice. So this had this header panel must have been off a Chevelle. So we're gonna weld up the holes and then put a El Camino one on it, but we're just taking the old one off right now.
Trying to, anyway.
Yeah.
The guy, double motor.
So they stack 2 nuts on each stud on here. We have no idea why.
In case they're going too fast. It's just spinning on there. It's those speed nuts.
Yeah. All right, so if you look here, there's just a tiny bit of Bondo in these holes, so they just smoothed it a little bit there. So we're gonna have to get down to the bare metal again and then weld those holes up and then drill new holes.
I'm thinking right there.
Yeah, no, that looks good.
Just got to get a pencil.
All right, so we got all the holes re-drilled. That's where it's gonna go. So now we just gotta do all the body work and clean it up.
A lot of work for just an emblem.
All right, we got it all sanded out. It's nice and smooth. We were getting ready to put some primer on it. He pulled the piece of tape off that he had here and it pulled the clear coat off the fender. It doesn't look like it was sanded because it still looks kind of shiny there. As you can see, I'll try to get the light in it. So they must not have prepped that area as well. So we got to fix that now too. right, so the El Camino is all painted now. We painted the door, we painted the fender, and we painted the header panel on it. So that'll take care of the paint issues that it had. It looks fantastic. We are going to have to, once the paint dries, go ahead and buff everything out so it matches the rest of the car. The paint on this car is nice and flat, so we'll make those 3 panels match it as well. So I'm excited about it. I think it looks fantastic, and it turned out really well. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for another episode Up and Running. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to come back next time.